Alright, back again. Thought this morning, so I've just checked the Westgate Bridge live stream, and traffic is very heavy on the Westgate Bridge, so I'm avoiding it and I'm going to go via the Westgate Tunnel. So here in Spotswood, the way to do that is to go to Altona first and then swing back. But I thought what I might do this morning is give a bit of a masterclass lecture on the live stream. Okay, talk about all its features and functions. You know, for those of you out there who are technically minded, who want to know how does he do it, how's Towson set this up? All right. So Westgate Bridge live stream. Well, where do I begin from a technical perspective? Right, where do I begin? So my company, INTJ Billing, that's me. I set up my own infrastructure at 7 Cullen Court, all my own IT infrastructure, servers, and those servers, okay, I've got virtual servers on them for various functions. I set them up about 5 years ago, and the Westgate Bridge livestream runs both on a new server as well as utilises the functionality of the existing infrastructure. Okay, so it's a physical server, and it utilises virtual servers set up on my infrastructure for data and other purposes. So I've got my own infrastructure on site. I've got a commercial grade, almost an enterprise grade internet connection, which I paid for, which I paid almost $4,000 for back in 2021. That's NBN fibre to the premises, and my ISP is Aussie Broadband, so it's a business class link to Aussie Broadband, very reliable, and reliability is what's needed for a live stream, right? Because if the internet was going up and down all the time, that'd be a disaster. Now, live streams still need rebooting, they still need maintenance, all the rest of that stuff, so I'm not able to maintain 100% uptime all the time. There are times when maintenance has to be performed, right? Try to do that out of hours and not during peak hours. So, Westgate live stream. Let's talk about some of the indicators on screen. So we've got bridge status, okay, bridge status overlay. That's just below the Spotswood Trailers logo. Bridge status gives an indication of whether the bridge is heavy, light, medium, etc., and it shows the speed of the bridge. Okay, now where's it get that? Where are you getting that data from, Clark? Well, it comes from my dear neighbour, the Department of Transport. Okay, they've been kind enough to create an open data platform that I've hooked into, and that's where it's getting that data from. Beneath that is the graph of bridge times. Now, the graph is an important graph because what that's doing in real time, it's calculating based on all the travel journeys. I've got about 117,000 travel events that have been logged, and that is giving that graph is showing the best and the worst times to travel. And you can see clearly in the graph that it is in the early morning, after midnight, and before about 5 a.m. where the travel time is best, right? It's fastest. And of course, that makes sense intuitively, because you think to yourself, well, who's using the bridge at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So not a lot of traffic over the bridge during the wee hours of the morning. Okay. Underneath that overlay, we've got the Westgate Bridge live stream statistics. Now, those statistics are from the YouTube channel, and the stats show the total number of users, how many views the stream has gotten, and a whole lot of other statistics based on people watching the stream. Underneath that, we've got bridge mood. Let's talk a bit about the bridge mood overlay, an important overlay. This uses emojis, okay, to give a emotional indicator of how the bridge is feeling, or how people are feeling travelling over the bridge at present time, right? And bridge mood, what that's doing, that is using all the travel events that have been logged, and it's looking at the travel times as well, and it's coming up with a calculation. It's learning, right? It's learning from the past travel events. It's learning from the current travel events, how much, what the travel times are right now over the bridge, and then it's giving a status indicator with the emojis, where it's saying what the mood of the bridge is. Right? Is it slow? Is it heavy? That sort of stuff. And the emojis that I'm using are smiley faces or frowns, frown faces, unhappy faces. It's also looking at incidents in real time. It's watching for incidents on the bridge. Is there a current incident? Is there a crash? Is there a vehicle breakdown? And it's also watching for so it's looking for both unplanned incidents, which are crashes, breakdowns, etc., and it's also watching upstream. So it's saying, okay, are there any upstream incidents? Okay, and I updated the code for that this morning, okay, to say so that the emojis reflect and the text on there reflects if there's an upstream incident that is causing traffic to bank up on the Westgate Freeway. Okay, and an incident occurred this morning in Barker's Road. I think that's in Kew. There was an incident there. All the lanes were closed, and that's had an impact this morning, right? So an important overlay, that one. Underneath that, we've got our community support overlay. That's our charities, where I'm highlighting charitable organisations that I like. Okay, there's about 20 or 21 charities in there at the moment that I believe deserve recognition. So rather than introduce commercial advertisers at present day, I've chosen to support the community, okay, or support organisations in the community that are doing good by people. And I thank friends of mine who have contacted me, people like Marin, who I went to university with. Shout out to Marin if he's watching this video, who suggested an important charity that he really likes. He sent it to me. I added it to the stream within 5 minutes, just like that. Bang, it's added to the stream. Okay. Underneath that, we've got the indicator of the time of day. Is it daytime? Is it morning time? Is it night time? And it gives a description for the time of day and the likely view to the Westgate Bridge. You know, in the morning you've got a beautiful view, sunrise. In the evening you've got sunset. Okay, all that sort of stuff. So that's an important overlay. It shows that the system is watching in real time. Okay. Other overlays we've got the incidents, Vic Roads incidents overlay. That shows whether there's an incident on the bridge in real time, if there's been a crash or a breakdown. We've got the unplanned incidents overlay. That's what that is. We've got the planned or the scheduled works overlay. That shows when my dear neighbour, the Department of Transport, has got bridge works planned, and that's pretty much a constant for the Westgate Bridge, so that overlay stays up constantly. And just yesterday, or last night, I coded an additional overlay to go next to it so that people are aware that the Department of Transport often starts their works, or they So they might start officially at midnight. However, the emergency vehicles and other vehicles that they use to block off the bridge are often up there between 3 to 4 hours earlier. So I've added that as an overlay as well, just to tell people, okay, there's planned works going on, and they're planned for midnight, but guess what? They're going to start disrupting the bridge 3 to 4 hours earlier. Okay, and so an important addition to live stream that, of course, because I've been watching the live stream myself and seeing my dear neighbour up there 3 to 4 hours before their planned works start. Okay, I watch them at night. I see their emergency vehicles and I think, aha, I need to put in another overlay to tell people that. I've got the date and time overlay, of course, to show what the date and time is, to show that the live stream is indeed live. Underneath that, we've got the stream status, whether the stream is online, which most of the time it's online. So it's doing calculations to check how long it's been online for, what the uptime is. The uptime indicator needs a little bit of work. I've got to update the code on that. It's showing 100% uptime, which is not entirely correct because there have been some downtime events. So I've got to fix that, do a bit of improvement to that. We've got the weather overlay. Okay, it shows the current weather. I might put in a forecast overlay with the forecast weather. Now the weather events, it shows whether it's raining and what the temperature is, what the air quality index is, how good the air is, that sort of stuff. I added an additional overlay yesterday from the Bureau of Meteorology. It's not currently fully automated, but that shows emergency alerts, such as yesterday. That was an emergency alert from the Bureau of Meteorology about the extreme rainfall event scheduled for Melbourne. Okay, so yesterday was a day of a lot of rainfall and flash flooding, that sort of stuff. So that overlay was on screen most of the day yesterday. That will be fully automated in time. I couldn't fully automate it at present time. There was some complications due to the way the Bureau of Meteorology presents their data to the general public. Don't make it easy to fully automate. Fuel prices. Let's talk a bit about fuel prices. So Service Victoria has been kind enough to create an app for fuel prices. So I've added an overlay for that. Fuel prices, exceptionally important. It shows the top 3 cheapest fuel prices in the vicinity of the Westgate Bridge. Fuel price is very important to people. Thought I'd add that one. Okay. Yeah, fuel prices. Very, very important. Okay. Lots of people interested in that. Speed cameras. Alright, speed cameras. So I've added an overlay for speed cameras so that people know where speed cameras are located, whether they're fixed, mobile, or seatbelt and mobile phone. Okay, speed cameras. So that overlay is in there. Wouldn't want people to be unsafe and to drive too fast. Hence, that overlay is there so people know where the speed cameras are and they can slow down, which is what the government says it wants. It's not about revenue raising according to the government. It's about keeping people safe. So I'm just doing my bit for public safety. Make sure people slow down, okay, where speed cameras are located. Very important. It's not about revenue raising for the government. It's not about revenue raising, is it? No, it's about public safety. I'm just doing my bit for public safety. So there's that overlay. There is the Melbourne marketing text, okay? An important overlay. It talks about Melbourne, okay? What we all know and love about Melbourne, okay? Lots of stuff in the Melbourne marketing text about this city that we all know and love. Then we've got the Westgate Bridge Intelligence Overlay. Very important overlay. That is an artificial intelligence overlay. What that's doing, it's learning. My CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer. It's learning from all the travel events, over 117,000 travel events captured in the system over the past 6 or 7 weeks. And what that's doing, it's going through all those events and it's looking at the travel times and other details from the events, and then it's coming up with intelligence, okay? Intelligence based on those travel times and events, okay? Right? Talks about, and it puts into plain English, okay, what it's learned, okay? So travel time is usually high at this date and time, right? Or between these hours, stuff like that, you know. Bridge is fast at these hours, bridge is slow at those hours. All of that makes it easy to understand for anyone looking at it exactly what it is doing, okay? So there's a CSV file, okay, comma separated file, where all the travel events are being logged. They're all logging to that file. Over time, it's built up to about 117,000 travel events, which the system is learning from. Okay, so an important overlay, Westgate Bridge Intelligence Overlay. Now, this system makes heavy use of artificial intelligence. Both the system that I've put in place in the system, so systems of systems, okay, as well as it learns from its own code. So the code that I develop, I improved by ingesting that code into AI, and I said, right, improve this code, and then it did. And then over time, as I note things on the bridge, I ingest it again, so improve it again for this, that, and the other. I've noticed this, I've noticed that, this needs to be changed, fix this, fix that, all that sort of stuff. So it's learning from its own code, it's learning from what I'm telling it, right? All of that. Okay, let's talk about the travel time indicators. You've got 3 on the bottom. You've got Westgate Freeway travel time, you've got travel time to city, travel time to the western suburbs, okay? Important indicators, very important indicators. Now that is total freeway travel time, it's not just for the bridge, and it shows those total times. Okay. So how long is the trip going to take? Okay. At present time, like right now on the bridge, how long is the trip going to take? Very important for people to understand that, okay, so that they can decide whether to leave now or to wait. If the bridge is taking, or if the freeway is taking a long time, if there's a lot of traffic, stuff like that, they can instantly see those travel times and make the call. All right, well, I'm going to go via the Westgate Tunnel, which is what I did today because the travel times were quite high. They were over 30 minutes. Okay, so I rerouted. Now, other people might make the same decision, and they might reroute either via the tunnel or via Diamond Road or Footscray Road. They can do that because they know what the travel times are in advance. Okay, you take one glance at the system and say, yep, the Westgate's cooked. Look how long it's taking. The freeway's cooked, the bridge is cooked. I am going to reroute. Now that gives people control. It gives people control over their life, where they can make decisions and avoid the Westgate Freeway and the Westgate Bridge when it's busy, when travel times have blown out. All right. Now the indicators there show for inbound, that's to the city, and outbound, that's to the suburbs. The indicators change colour, so they're animated. They change colour based on the travel time. So if the travel times are good, the indicators will be green. If they're starting to blow out, they will turn yellow. And if they're really bad, though, if the travel time's really bad, they will turn red. Okay, so the arrows will turn red, fully animated. All right, very important to have those travel times in there. So yeah, there's also another overlay for Westgate Tunnel prices. So the Transurban prices for the Westgate Tunnel shows truck prices, car prices, stuff like that, in terms of how much it's going to cost to travel through the tunnel for a car or for a truck, etc. Very important. So that's pretty much an overview of all the overlays that are present at the moment. There's one overlay that I'm working on at the moment, very important. Okay, it's a decision overlay. Okay, and it talks about it's basically the ultimate question that we all have: should I leave now or should I wait? So it's a departure decision overlay. Okay, now that takes into account all the other systems in it, and it makes that ultimate call. All right, makes the ultimate call on whether you should leave now or whether you should wait. So it's watching a whole lot of things, okay, such as travel times, incidents, bridge mood, takes into account every other system, and it acts as the ultimate decision maker, right? But of course, I always encourage people not just to look at the indicators on the screen, but to watch what is actually happening on the bridge in real time, because that is exceptionally important, so people can see the flow of traffic on video in real time. Okay, exceptionally important, because remember, these travel times and these indicators, they come from my dear neighbour, the Department of Transport, where from their open data platforms, all I've done is I have enriched them, I've improved them, I have saved them, I am logging them over time. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. But ultimately, I encourage people to use their own eyes and to look and see. All right, watch the video, the live stream, and see what the traffic is actually doing right now. Okay, the overlays will be right most of the time, but remember, the overlays are still based on the system, and they can take time to update, right? Depending on if my dear neighbour has made a mistake, and I've tried to take all this into account, because sometimes those overlays, right, the data that the Department of Transport provides, sometimes they make small errors, and so they may not update a system, or something gets stale, an event gets stale. So the system tries to take all of that into account. Okay, because it's watching all of those, it's watching all of their open data, and it's making these calculations in real time. But remember, it's still based on their data. So if they make a mistake, yeah, I've tried to work around it. And every time there's a mistake, I take it into account and I update the code. All right, if the Department of Transport stuffs up here, do this. If they stuff up there, do that. Say this, say that. That sort of stuff, right? They're not going to get it right 100% of the time. I'm not going to get it right 100% of the time. The system is not going to get it right 100% of the time. But most of the time, it will be correct. And the times it's incorrect, it's learning. It's saying, all right, it was incorrect at this date and time. Here is why it was incorrect. So I'm feeding that back in. I'm saying, all right, you were wrong here. Fix this. You were wrong there. Fix that. Okay, this needs improvement because that needs improvement because all that sort of stuff. So over time, it's both me doing it manually and me feeding it back into AI. Right? Feeding the data back into AI and saying, right, here is where you were mistaken. Here's what needs improvement. Here's where the system code needs to be updated. Make the changes. Or at times I will go in and I'll make the changes myself, because remember, All right, AI is not perfect. It's right a whole lot of the time, but in the times that it's wrong, it can be wrong pretty badly. And that's where I and my knowledge of computer science, my background in computer and mathematical science, comes in extremely handy, okay? Because ultimately I've got to go in, I've got to look at the code and say, right, has it got it right? All right? Sometimes when it gets it wrong, I've got to go in, I've got to do manual updates, I've got to fix things. But then when I fix it, I'll say, right, this algorithm is better because, and I'll feed that back in, and sometimes it will say, yep, you're right, Towson, okay? And then it will update it based on new code, all right? So this is the workflow these days. I mean, this isn't the workflow I used to use years ago. All of this stuff was manual, okay? But now a whole lot of it is automated, and this system, if I had have coded everything manually, this would have taken me 6 to 8 months or longer, and it would have required a team of people. But now, because of AI, I can write code once, then I can improve it, right, continuously by getting feedback from large language models. Exceptionally important, right? It's amazing what LLMs can do these days, and how much faster you can work, and it reduces the. See, there's a speed camera right there on the right, and that's in the system as well. I think it's in the system. Yeah, you can improve things enormously, and use a whole lot less labour. Okay, a whole lot less labour. And what does that look like? That looks like less programmers, less people needing to work on the system. Right? Less. Okay, where one man, I myself, can do the work of a team of people, and not just for the programming stuff, for a whole lot of other stuff as well. The documentation, it's amazing. I can take all the code that's been developed, I can document it using AI as well. Whereas before, and yes, I have had to document a whole lot of things manually. I use a configuration item spreadsheet where I've got everything in that spreadsheet, and there's other stuff that I do as well, because it is a complex system. There is a lot of moving parts to it, like a lot of moving parts, a great deal of moving parts, right? Everything has to run. It's like an orchestra, right? It's like working in supercomputing. And the best analogy for that is being a conductor in an orchestra, because you're going to make sure all the moving parts, all the people that make up the orchestra, are playing in tune. If someone's not playing in tune, that's no good. That means the system's stuffed, right? And you got to fix it, right? The orchestra's not going to sound very good if someone is playing off tune. Likewise, the computing platform is not going to work effectively if there's a problem somewhere. But over time it's getting better, and that's the most important part. Every second that the system operates, it's improving, okay? And I'm updating it. And other people can update it as well in terms of sending me details, right? Send me details. Tell me, all right, what needs to be improved, what needs to be fixed, all right? How can I improve this, or how can I improve that? How can I improve something else? How can I make it better? I take into account people's feedback. I really do. Okay, and I fix things, I improve things, I make sure that they're better, I make sure that the system's better. All of that. So I'm just looking at a screenshot of the platform at the moment. Okay. So yeah, lots of overlays, right? But most importantly, we've got the actual live view itself. That's the foundational part of the system. The live view, seeing the traffic with your own eyes, most important. Yeah, that's pretty much every overlay. In terms of the yeah, I think that's probably all I want to say about it at present time. So if anyone's got any questions or anything like that, just let me know. All right.